Any predictions for operator bans? So far, these teams have really liked getting rid of Nomad. And OXG has started on defense for maps 1, 2, and now map 3 as well. So I imagine a Nomad ban will probably come out here. It is directly targeting none other than Thinking Nade and his flank watch capabilities. He can flank watch his Thatcher if he really wants to. It took them a little while longer, but they still arrived at the exact same conclusion, which is get rid of Nomad. SSG has been a lot more flexible in terms of what they ban on attack, but Hibana is usually the go-to ban here. They're going to throw a little bit of a curve ball and get rid of Capitao instead. Capitao, an operator that is well liked by various members of Oxygen, so it stands to reason to get rid of him. And, well, follow up with the Wamai ban. So that makes sense. You get rid of Capitao, the only thing that can counter those arrows is a Wamai. You get rid of Wamai as well. Well, there you have it.
Probably be a Valkyrie. It would be my guess. I mean, both these teams play. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Well, guess not. I'm guessing wrong. Last time Oxygen did go here, they banned Pulse. It's the only time they've banned Pulse. But both of these teams actually banned Valkyrie as their primary operator. Now, why this is interesting is because with a Pulse ban, you're going to have more information outside the map and still plenty inside the map. With Valkyries being in play. This is going to make operators like IQ essential. Actually, IQ will probably be run every single round with a Valkyrie-enabled coastline. I'm actually kind of, like, again, it's very unusual to see Valkyrie make it through that ban phase on this map. So that'll be potent. You talked about Hibana. She's going to be a really strong tool for both teams when they're on the attacking side as well. A strange ban phase, to be sure. Capitao plays a similar role to Hibana, though, in a sense. So that one at least kind of makes a little bit of sense. And same thing with Pulse to Valkyrie. But I still think Valkyrie would have been a smarter ban here. Though I understand it, though. SSG is good at playing Pulse on this map, so it makes sense.
Valkyrie would be a good ban. Both teams have been running Valkyrie, though. I don't know if Valkyrie would have been banned for that reason and that reason alone. SSG ran her a slew of times on Villa. Right now, immediately, Foxay is running her. You know, so you saw her on... You see her on...
A lot.
See her on Consulate? I was trying to remember if we saw her on Consulate. It's weird because like Consulate's already gone from my brain. Villa? Remember clear as day. I can tell you all that happened. Consulate? Can't remember.
If she wasn't banned, then she was definitely played, yes.
She was not banned. It was Wamai and Mute that were banned.
Yeah, well, then she's one of the most meta operators out there right now, and I imagine she probably would have been played a few rounds at least.
I had no idea.
Bomb located by attackers.
All right. So Foxy's going for a run out by Mud, and he's looks like not going to spot anyone immediately. I will see one on a long angle, but he doesn't land the shot.
They like that. They did it on Villa. They didn't really go for it on Consulate. OXG's cheeky style of plays.
Yeah. Whoa.
This is... that is brazen. Yeah. That is very brazen from vertical. Great mechanical aim and really good skill. So he can obviously try and win those fights, no doubt, but you don't want to put yourself at that big a disadvantage if you lose.
Oh, that was a curious mark. So what that mark was probably entailing is a C4 from below pre-placed to assist the roam upstairs. I don't see that Foxy's used his, though. So maybe he's just relocating to do just that right now. He's remarking over and over, so that would make sense. False gets bio, so Maestro gone. That's huge. Evil Eyes will stay silent for the rest of the round, and oh no, it's getting worse as the roamer above is eliminated by Thinking Nade.
There's more damage being done now from the Buck, as this is a bit of a slow start, and they're using these EE1Ds to just try and take up as much ground as possible, keep OXG at bay. This is the standard stuff with Lion. Obviously, he's not quite the operator he used to be, much to the relief of basically everybody who plays this game. So now he's exceptional at being able to just take space quickly, and, well, with how good a team like SSG drones, it can end up being extremely, extremely strong. OXG will find some firepower of their own at Slash. He takes out Thinking Nade. Thinking Nade on the Buck playing from above means that the soft destruction will be lessened as SSG looks to try and go through that service/delivery door. That's going to be where the execute is. And Rampy has taken up space where the Buck would usually play above, and he'll watch that pantry rotate, which is where Slash was playing off of. Slash has that smoke, still has 3 toxic canisters, so he can use them as best he can to stop Canadian from being able to get that plant off. It's kind of weird to see Hibana in play, but that hard destruction has already proven to be quite useful. The Jaeger moves out, and it's just a missed opportunity from Fultz. Takes a little bit more ammunition than he wanted. As the diffuser goes down, it's Foxay in a hopeless situation. He gets gunned down, and round number 1, just as it did on Consulate, is going to go to Space Station.
So a lot of you might be wondering, why the heck is the smoke trying to run out of the kitchen wall? What's going on there? And oh, look at that Jaeger. He's not even trying to check the Lamborghini doorway. And there's a couple things going on there. The main thing to keep in mind, though, is that Oxygen is feeling absolutely stifled by the way that SSG is playing throughout that round. Now, the main reason for that, and the most important thing that came of that round, was the top floor clear for SSG. They so efficiently and effectively cleared out the top floor, even getting 2 picks in the process, that they were able to use every inch of that floor to open up above the bomb site and make the anchors' lives hell. There's really nowhere comfortable to sit in the site once the walls, or sorry, the ceiling above you starts getting opened up. And yeah, that was, I think, well demonstrated in that round. SSG also had great control over the angles, and were able to cut off rotation from the main lobby, getting 2 from Fultz. We were able to cut off rotation upstairs, which ultimately was to the demise of the Smoke, who could have denied the plant with his gas canisters. Everything was accounted for SSG. It was just a spotless execution. A great case study for those who want to know how to execute on the kitchen.
I didn't even have any smokes to pull it off either. We've seen a couple smoke plants on kitchen as of late. If Capitau's available, he's a good one. As good as any. Gridlock every now and then will get played. We saw her get used on Consulate. In fact, the smoke plays from Oxygen were really important for 2 plants that went down, actually. And if you go all the way back to Oxygen on attack, they were able to get the diffuser down 4 times, and they won every single one of those rounds. Now, mind you, a lot of times they weren't doing that with smoke, but 2 of the times they did. That's pretty good. So yeah, SSG obviously likes this lineup though, and when teams still have Hibana on the board, they will usually use her, and that's exactly what we see. Canadian had used her last round on taking Penthouse. That was exactly where he was going after, and now he's going to use it just to open up some of that blue bar wall that leads into Sunrise. So it's not going to be directly applied on kitchen or bathroom wall, as you might suspect, or you might actually see in whatever level of play you play at. But instead, there is a greater strategy here for SSG and how they want to apply this and how they're using that hard destruction to take away some of the map control that OXG has.
Looks like it's going to be a Sunrise take. That control that you spoke of has been acquired for SSG on the Sunrise side. Now, because of the IQ, they're certain there's no Valkyrie cams over here, which means the information game is not going to be against SSG necessarily. They'll need to deal with Vertical in the main lobby, though. That's huge. His position is probably going to be the main hurdle here for the attack. If he's able to play in this somewhat lower part of the main lobby, he'll have decent cover and an amazing angle into the kitchen door. And Oxygen will probably take this one, especially considering they still have that top floor control. You can see Buck is trying to contest this. And he's going to wait for a drone to drone him in, I believe. But if he can deal with Biologic inside of VIP, Thinking Nade might just be the hero this round, because it'll open up a lot of options.
I want to see exactly how they're going to take care of Biologic, or even if they are. That's the better question, because he seems right now to be quite stuck.
Yeah, I mean, they've also got the Jaeger by 90 to support him, too, so this is going to be hard.
A lot of this soft destruction is just getting opened up, and there goes the Lion as Laxing plays over by 90. Down goes Vertical as Rampy finds 2. Now he has Slash as well, but Foxay will end his reign of terror. 30 seconds left, and there goes half of the server. So things will continue to quicken as OXG is going to need to get their way closer back to the bomb site if they've been isolated at this point, which it looks like, for the most part, they actually haven't. There goes Laxing. Foxay now under fire, which means that Bio will have to return. He was upstairs playing inside of VIP, but he's going to try to stop that diffuser from going down. So the Mute will need to do coverage from above. A possible suicide drop into main lobby. He'll head through bathroom. Nitro sellout, but he gets caught with his pants down in the bathroom. Down he goes. Bosco finishes him off. And that'll be the round for Space Station. Oh, he wasn't actually in the bathroom.
No, but it was funny though.
I know, but I wish he was, because then it would have been funnier.
Yeah, but I mean, he was close to the bathroom.
He was close to the bathroom, but he wasn't in it.
He had his pants down before he even got to the bathroom. That's
There
how bad
you
it was.
go. Oh,
He was trying.
we all know that feeling, right?
I mean,
right?
When you're
Don't
living
talk about
home
it.
alone, right, and you're like rushing to the bathroom. Has that not happened to you?
I plead the fifth.
All right. Well,
I cannot confirm nor deny.
kitchen wasn't working very well for
Twice,
Oxygen.
both
Yeah.
times the attackers win. I know there will be some saltiness for the fact that SSG is using Lion. A lot of people will say
Need to locate and
they're
defuse
abusing
bombs.
Lion. I don't
Oh.
necessarily know if I agree with that, and I can already hear you groan.
Blah blah. Yeah. No, Lion's in a fine place. I think that's sorry if you want me to elaborate. I think that's it's like Blackbeard, you know? At a high level, Blackbeard and Lion are both incredibly powerful when used correctly. But they're fine, you know? Like I don't like Blackbeard. I don't like Lion. And I'd wish that they didn't exist. But that doesn't mean that they need to be any worse or that they need to, you know, not exist necessarily or that you can't use them. No, if you have an idea, if you have a plan, go for it. We're talking about Coastline. Lion is very useful on Coastline because there's barely anywhere to hide already, and you can almost always force those players who are hiding in like a corner trying to deny angles to their opponents, trying to deny picks to their opponents. You can almost always hide like one, maybe two places max as a defender. That's why they ban Capital. That's why Habana typically gets banned, because they force you out. But Lion makes it even more difficult. When you're getting forced out, if a Lion EE1D is popping, they know exactly what's happening. That's why he's good here. But anyway, no, I think it's unreasonable to complain about that. 2020.
Just because it's 2020 doesn't mean I want to see you, dude.
I do not know that reference.
Some people will get it.
Was it
We'll get into it later.
the what's his
No,
name?
it's from a YouTube video.
Oh, okay, then I don't know it.
Yeah, there you go.
I was thinking it was the Big Lebowski or something because you said dude.
No, though, that would have been great because, you know, Bolo's charm and all that. Bolo has made a generation of Big Lebowski stands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great movie, by the way.
Good movie. Yeah, excellent.
Very good movie. So it was a retreat, by the way, from Oxygen, but they don't all make it back to safety. And Biologic is the very first casualty for OXG, 90 seconds into the round. Things seem to happen once it hits 90 seconds. It's like, there you go. We've discovered enough of the map to be able to pinch out that last roamer, whoever it may be. In this case, Biologic draws the short straw. So
yeah, roamer pinch and pick accomplished.
where
and
was he
SSG.
playing? I didn't see where he was playing.
Let's see if we can find his corpse. Not by the bar, not by kitchen, maybe by blue. It's hard to tell with the quality because you don't have the
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel that.
I don't see it, but it was probably one of the roamers downstairs. It's my bet.
Probably somewhere on the map.
Yeah, definitely somewhere
Yeah,
on the map.
definitely.
I'm guessing inside, even.
Probably in the building, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, SSG has the pick that they want. And if you're looking at that flank watch of Thinking Nate, he's going to be free to do that now as OXG is realizing that for a defense of Hookah, the only 2 points of entry are going to come from over towards that Hookah door or possibly even Aqua. But Slash was not looking horizontally. He was looking down. And he gets punished by Fultz on that repel on double window. An even greater advantage now for SSG. And still lots of skeleton key for Thinking Nate to be able to carve up that ceiling above him and make it really tough for OXG to hang on. In a very common default spot, Vertical is going to play very, I would say, unpredictably. He's waiting for the sledge to walk on in, but he misses one shot, turns, picks them both up, but he's in a one-man stand. Pistol out, 3 kills, and the timer strikes 0. What a clutch from Vertical. Nobody from Space Station could see him. Impressive stuff. And Oxygen will take their very first round here on Coastline.
Huge round there for Vertical. That was a cheat for SSG. They had that one done. It was over. GG. Well, I guess good round, whatever. It was done. And Vertical cleaned it up, I guess. I don't really know. He completely locked it out in his team's favor when it shouldn't have been. I'm very impressed by his patience, I guess. His positioning awareness. I am more, I think, kind of shocked that SSG didn't check for that. And how drastically that cost them. That is something. We would be in 3-0 right now had they just checked one corner.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
That's it. I mean, I wish there was more to talk about there. SSG was going for really good execution. They were very thorough. They cleared out the roamers around the site, forcing the anchors into the site, all the while getting off picks. That Lion EE1D combo, did you see that? When Slash died to the guy on Rappel, that was because you saw Fultz droned out Slash, saw him standing static next to the bar, EE1D'd, punched the barricade at the same time, and then free kill. Because Slash isn't moving. Why? EE1D. I mean, yeah, it's only a few second window, but it matters. Slash could have gotten out of that, but he didn't even expect that. So it's the information Fultz does, and Fultz had gathered, and he did that all himself, I believe. There's more layers to that. The SSG, again, the roam clear, the angle control, SSG was on top of it. The collapse in the site, everything worked, but they just didn't check one corner. And it really goes to show. Check your corners.
I mean, the better question that I have to ask, though, is that it was who? It was Fultz, or no, it was the IQ on Rappel, and it was the Sledge who walked through the doorway. The Ash burst up. But there were, the timer was 0, and Canadian was nowhere near the bomb site to get the diffuser down. So Vertical really just is masking a greater issue that was there for SSG. Vertical wasn't the obstacle. SSG's lack of coordination was. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe if there was an audible that was called after Vertical started swinging, I'm not sure.
You know what I think it might have been? I was talking about the angles earlier, and SSG's control of not just the site, but all of the angles around the site, like the web that they cast to try and net some kills is immense. It's it really does make you feel stifled. It makes you feel like you're suffocating in your own bomb site. And I think having that control, casting that that net is really hard to pull off with everyone being in the same spot. So I think that they were just going for that. And that's the second time that's happened. Biologic at the top of main lobby stairs will die thanks to Fultz getting information, EE1D'ing, and getting a kill on Rappel. Bosco gets another one to follow it up. SSG is not skipping a beat after that last round.
One thing for SSG is their opening picks so far in terms of opening duels on this map is quite impressive. In fact, the attackers have done a mighty fine job of it so far throughout the entirety of this matchup. There's another for SSG. Laxing had gotten one for his team, but he's rewarded for that with Grave with the remainder of the round left for him to sit on the sidelines. That's Slash and Foxay left alive against everybody but Fultz on SSG. So if you're Space Station with the remaining 1 minute left, you might be in pretty good position, and I would say Space Station right now has the advantage, but I would have said that last round too, and it ended up being all for naught. Slash will have to retake from above, leaving Foxay alone on the bomb site, which is kitchen for those of you that are not following along at home. So while you still have upstairs control, and there's a kill from Slash as he finds Thinking Nade, nobody seems to see it. You as SSG need to get in towards the bomb site, but you might be a little bit too spread out. There's still plenty of time, and now the gap that was between these two teams is significantly smaller. It's allowed Slash to rotate. His coastline is a map where you can get around quite fast. He's got his... Oh, you can see his elbow for just a second, but he's got his body to the cabinet. And no, Bosco's looking the wrong way. Slash pivots, finds kill number 2. He'll have to outduel the Hibana, shotgun out, but he loses the fight to Canadian, who will immediately go for the defuse plant. This will leave Rampy and Foxay to battle it out, but Rampy from the other side of the map makes a beautiful shot. And SSG takes round number 4, and they're up 3-1.
Actually, this right here is a good example of what I was talking about when it comes to angles, Parker, because so Rampy's he's on the other side of the map, right? But he's cutting off 2, maybe 3 rotations that are so important. He could deny anyone rotating from the main lobby, from the blue bar, or from upstairs. Basically, he's got control of all the entryways to the site from inside the building, from that spot. So, I think it probably for that last round where they lost it, I think that was something along those lines. You know what I mean? Having someone really far out there. Or not someone, a couple people really far out there. Anyway. Well done there to SSG. He came really close, though. I gotta commend Slash for his valiant effort to try and come back on that round. Just wasn't going to happen, though. It's too tall a mountain to trek. And, well, Oxygen are clearly struggling on the defensive half of Coastline. The only round that they've managed to win so far was, it was vertical, basically. Putting in the work, and 2 members of SSG being way too far.
Oxygen have had some issues with high flying performers being seemingly grounded today. One person who has been extremely quiet is Laxing. He hasn't had quite the impact that we've expected. Fultz picked it up quite heavily after the first half of map number 1, so he's done his damnedest. And Rampy's having a good match here too. But yeah, I mean, OXG really seems to be the vertical show today. He has put in an extraordinary amount of work to keep his team in a number of these rounds. He's playing on the roles where you expect him to get a lion's share of the kills, and he's not disappointing any fantasy owners. If you have him on your team, you're probably in a pretty good spot right now. And if he can stay alive till the bitter end of the round, as we saw in round number 3, which he single-handedly won, then Oxygen has a significant and fighting chance. I mean, obviously the stats show that he's not that far ahead, but his impact in every single one of these maps has been quite big. On Coastline, he just had that one big round. Other than that, it hasn't really been all that much. The rest of the team has been doing a pretty good job. Slash had a great round last round too.
You know, I can't say that it's... Since map number 1, I don't think it's been like an individual player show. It's kind of been an all over the place sort of thing. Map number 1, there were a couple standouts, especially on SSG. Bosco, Fultz, Rampy. But since then, I don't know. It hasn't felt the same of like, oh yeah, look at this one individual. A lot of team effort going on here, and I love to see that. So that's, in my opinion, most interesting seed is the one where you get good teamwork going on. Oh, go ahead.
We are very close to hitting that 90-second mark where somebody has to die. The question is going to be, who is it, or are we going to buck that trend? It looks like we've bucked it, at least for now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Trend bucked. Speaking of buck, we're on Thinking Nate inside of Billiards, so go on to the drill.
I'll try to gather some information below him so he can open up in a lethal way. If you just open up the holes, well, the defenders rotate away from them, or they try to challenge them. But if you drone before opening the holes, then you can get information, open up directly above someone, and potentially do a lot of work with that. Maybe get a kill. No, none coming so far. It's been a very slow round. Not just no kill at the 90-second mark, but I mean it's continuing on, where everyone stays alive. The lethality of the angles that SSG have been playing somewhat dissipating here, I suppose.
Laxing is getting supported right now by a Valkyrie camera down below. He's still going to continue to live, and he's crept his way into security, finding countless amounts of drones. There goes Biologic. He hasn't found the scoreboard yet, and he's going to need to wait till the final round of their defense to see if he can do it. As the Lion is closing in on being able to get towards the bomb site. They're going to try to flash out the Jaeger playing inside of securities. There's Laxing. He'll run right by the Lion, and he sees it. What a shot, but it's Foxay who actually gets credited with the kill. It looked like it was Laxing. He'll find one on the Thinking Nade, though, and there's lots of damage being done. Down goes Canadian, and SSG will continue to hold the lead, but it gets narrower as OXG takes round number 5. They're still very much in this, and this map is still anyone's game. It's 3-2 for SSG, going on to the very final defense for Oxygen.
Certainly the most confident round we've seen from Oxygen so far, and it's nice to see that they're winning rounds on their own merits and doing a solid job at it. That roam was pretty lethal there for Oxygen. It distracted SSG for the majority of the round. You saw there even towards the end of the round, we had Fultz, for example, trying to take a fight over by Bathroom. The site is double bar. And, he's running out of time. He's really got to go, but he's just, he wants to do his thing. He wants to clear out those roamers, understandably so. If you don't get those picks, then they will come back to haunt you. Sunrise Bar is a very open bomb site. Generally speaking, most of the plant spots are susceptible to roamers retaking their own bomb site. So you put in the legwork or you get punished. Well done, though, to Oxygen. We'll see if they can manage a hookah billiards defense.
Last time we got here, it was actually Oxygen defending on round number 3. And they won it. Well, Vertical won it. It was basically the Vertical show at that point.
It was the Vertical.
Nestled in the corner of Hookah, he was able to pivot from the main door on the balcony to the window and then to the rotate hole, and with the pistol out, took out the very final kill. And with it, Oxygen won the round. Now, they're going to go back on here, and they're going to pin their hopes on maybe a little bit deeper of a defense, because you can't gamble on one person doing it all every single time. And I don't expect to see the same flashes of brilliance from Vertical in the closing moments of a round. It's just unlikely to happen again. With that said, Oxygen is going to be bringing a bit of a frustrating lineup when it comes to drone work from SSG, and it's forced SSG to actually have to change things up themselves, running the Vigil, now running the Mute. It means that SSG's ability to gather information is going to be significantly difficult, or at least more difficult than it was previously. That's what Canadian is going to be on the Jackal for. Hibana obviously not paying the same dividends that you would expect of her, and it also means that there will be a set of smokes for SSG. I'll aid them with being able to pull off that plant.
So far, nothing really eventful happening. Oh wow, that's a yokai drone. Okay, spotted a yokai drone there. SSG could pinch that off, and it would actually be really useful. Looks like Oxygen wants to C4 from below. Maybe they've only got one on Laxing. Is he actually? No, he's playing at the base. But it might be a retake down there, an attempted pick, but not gonna happen. It's just a roam clear so far, and we're not really looking at the roam clear because there aren't any roamers. You can notice that they're pretty much everybody on the defense is playing by the site. You've got some people downstairs roaming, but they're towards the site, and the roam clear is coming from the east. So no contact, no drone contact. Mostly just SSG looking for defenders, not finding any. That's really important. A gas canister expended to retreat from Aqua. That's huge, because now Slash will have one less to actually deny the plant through the wall.
You throw that through the pink wall, and it can deal some significant damage and stop the default plant that's going to happen behind the bomb chassis. Vertical, the man of the hour on this bomb site before, is going to do work, but on a different part of the map. This time down by the kitchen, he takes out Bosco. And the IQ can be so crucial in finding those mute jammers and finding the Vigil Bio, and also finding those yokais.
Oh, that's default.
What a line of sight that is. And yes, that is the default plant spot. That's a cheeky angle being held from Bio down below. Still looking for his first kill, and he's got 50 seconds to find it this half.
Yeah. I mean, Bio's set up to find it right now. He's the one with the kill position with that angle. Some nasty stuff. Ash charge goes off. Not sure what it nets. Could have been a great many things.
I think it's the barbed wire at double doors, and it does appear that that was, yes, that was its intended target. And there goes an E1D. It's the very first one, actually. So you're going to gamble on these going off in the post plant.
Foxay doesn't know how close he is to death, but Fultz doesn't know either. He'll get one onto Laxing, but Foxay with the refrag by the window. The plant going down, but it's not on default, so the angle doesn't work. Canadian might actually be able to get this. The cover's in. Thinking Nade is successful. Canadian as well. They both make it out. That shot missed there from Vertical is huge. Foxay in the floor, which means the yokais are standing still. Now it's only Vertical as Canadian picks up 2 big kills. Vertical dropped downstairs. He has almost no chance here, but he will at least get the buck, bringing this into a one-on-one. Canadian actually is low HP. A single bullet from Vertical is all it will take, but he has to be assertive on the play. He doesn't know where the last attacker is. He has to just peek things. 7 seconds is how long it takes to disable this diffuser. Repel, it's heard. Vertical knows, but oh no, it's actually below. He looks through the hole. He can't get it now. He's out of time. Vertical, no chance. And Canadian will win it on time. What a try, though.
I don't think Canadian thought that he had it. That's why you could see the desperation shots. And I mean, the look on his face tells just that story. I mean, the look on his face. They're gamers. They don't believe in lights, Michael. Look at that. Where's your RGB? Where is it? I don't see it. Really well played by SSG. The plant goes down with Canadian planting, not by default, but by the pool table. And the only person that was left alive on his team watching was Thinking Nade. There were still 4 members of OXG that were upright. They didn't know this plant was going down. Could it be bad comms? We don't know. We don't know the exact reason for it. But what we do know is that It happens unbeknownst to them. Immediately, Canadian gets off. There's an engagement that happens. I believe it was Biologic. He gets taken out of play. Vertical misses some shots on a Thinking Nate as Thinking Nate escapes to luggage and then manages to get out of there. And Canadian picks up 2 very big kills. And I mean, it's the C7E in the hands of a Jackal. Well, you can frag. That's part of the job. And SSG and the post plan are basically perfect. Really nice to watch and really just really well practiced. And that's got to be a heartbreaker of a round for OXG. It certainly seemed like up until the final 4 or 5 seconds that it was over. OXG should have had it. And yet they did not. And a lot of it was just poor coordination on their end.
Yeah, I also think assuming, like for example, the angle that opens up on a default, that's great. The plant went somewhere else. The fact that didn't end in a 3-3 is really bad for Oxygen, in my opinion. I think it certainly could have been a 3-3. Such a nice try, though. Especially at the end there. Vertical really put in his A+ effort. Gotta commend him for it. Imagine he killed Canadian on that first engagement by luggage. That would have been something.
Or some chatter, by the way, on social media that I happened to partake in between the matches.
Great tell.
After the second match, they said teams really unbanning, leaving Maestro up so Fultz can play him. I mean, you're gonna leave Maestro up, but it's been a role swap of Fultz and Bosco. But that is true. There were teams that were banning Maestro quite a lot against Bosco at some point. Or sorry, against Fultz at some point. So it was kind of weird to see Bosco on that role, but Coastline does often see teams swap up their roles. So what's most important is that the gadgets are used properly.
Yeah, I agree, and it is definitely dangerous. I think that the Maestro will be a big part of this. The outcomes here. It's curious that we were seeing the Echo being brought from Oxygen instead. A lot of Echo play.
They like the Echo, and I mean, if you've got Slash or Bio on it, they tend to do quite well on those roles. And oh my, there goes the Maestro of Bosco. He gets downed and shot from Rappel of Foxe all the way down on that hookah window. He'll drone out Bosco, and well, Vertical will be the one to finish him off. Good bit of coordination as Vertical was on Rappel over by Aqua, but it's a run out from Rampy on Vigil to take care of that pesky Ash and silence the best gun for Oxygen so far in this map. So that's a very big pick. It's been a very quick round, though. We are very close to the 1-minute mark, and a Hibana that had been brought out by SSG will now be brought by OXG as well on OXG's very first attack. They'll be applied over by Hookah, which will force some of the defenders back, and they can't play as cavalierly by the door into Hookah as they usually would.
Yeah, it's actually surprising that nobody tried to stop those. I mean, maybe they did get some of them. They could have just positioned someone in the B-bomb. I'm guessing they're worried about the Aqua Repel still, so fair enough. Now, we're coming down to the last few 40 seconds here. 4v4. It's almost like there's a pattern. One that I'm familiar with. Easy kill there for Foxe as Fultz steps out of the bomb site. Did he need to? Not necessarily. Did he want to? Certainly, it seems.
A
second
shot.
one for Foxe as Rampy peekaboos over the shield. That means no gas canisters, no denial there, and the plant will go down by default. Slash with good coverage, and he gets the second one to boot. Oxygen not skipping a single beat in that round. They hit all of their challenges.
Some really good gun skill on their side, especially Foxe, as you saw him take control of that front from Hookah, which was to alleviate most of the pressure from SSG. So, man, that was about as clean as you can get to take control of Hookah. And you're right. You said Fultz. He peaked. Did he need to? No. Who was it? Was it Thinking Nate that was playing behind the deployable shield? Went to do the same thing. Did he need to peak as well?
No.
Foxe punished both of them. And those are just small mistakes that you don't need to make. You just don't. You don't need to take those engagements. OXG punished you for them. Expect to see more restraint from Space Station moving on.
Yeah, I think that they've learned their lesson there. I'm sure maybe it's Troy. I don't know who's the guy who whips people back into shape, but I want to say it's Troy. It's probably saying something along the lines of, yeah, guys, come on. I mean, I think the peak was to try and dislodge an attacker from big window, which if there were an attacker on big window, that's crucial. But there wasn't. So maybe it was misinformation. That's possible. Maybe someone made a call, someone was big window, and Fultz just peeked off that call. You know, it's not always the individual's fault. Sometimes it's the information that the individual thinks they have next to one of the other people on the team. But we can't know. We can only speculate at this point. So, kitchen defense for SSG. We'll see what they do here.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb. 5 seconds left before insertion.
Ibrahim Cog. You could expect Bosco to be playing main lobby on the long angles through the holes that were just opened up by smoke. Also probably play on site, maybe a lone anchor, maybe he'll have one supporting anchor, but generally a smoke can solo hold on kitchen, service entrance. And then you'll probably have your standard roaming array. You've also got Valkyrie cams for some usually pretty decent information gathering.
Located a bomb.
Predictions coming true. A Deagle ammo goes by very quickly as you try to do some soft destruction with it. I
Really
don't know
does.
if Canadian was worried about where he was going to be getting pushed from, but look at that line of sight. He might actually have gotten all of the X-Kairos. That's what it seemed like.
Some of them, certainly.
He did get all of them, so there you go. And it's going to happen again. All gone. This time shot from what appeared to be through the courtyard. That could have been Bosco with the long-range angle.
Yep.
It sure does look to be the case. Only one round left for Biologic to see if he can actually get that wall opened up. This is going to be a lot tougher, and you can't be quite as loosey-goosey. That's the official term for it, by the way.
Of course.
With those X-Kairos.
And he is being quite loosey-goosey with his X-Gyros.
It was quite loosey-goosey.
Yeah, they need to clear out office at the very least before they even attempt that. But you can see no attempt is being made to do that. That's going to allow SSG to continue to roam on this side of the map. Canadian is even going to get Fox A. I'm not sure where he got that from. Maybe from the window, I want to say. Yeah, looking through the blue bar window is my guess. Whatever the case, pick early for SSG and they establish man advantage. Oxygen need to reassess this take. They've gotten control of Sunrise, but they were gifted control of Sunrise. And it cost them too. Even though it was a gift, they didn't know that it would be. So, yeah, they used a couple nades there, and they used a life up on that Sunrise push. And they've even lost quite a bit of HP. Oh, whoa, what is this? Biologic has just made it into the site. He will get refragged, but Slash is right on top of it. Vertical and Slash now have full site control with Laxing by service entrance. And the diffuser is in hand. It'll go down by the shelf. Laxing covering the kitchen entrance, but this Vigil of Rampy could do some work. He won't. Slash will shut him down. Vertical repositions to plant in now inside of storage. No longer exposed to the holes in the kitchen wall. Beautiful reposition, but Canadian catches one at least in that transition. Vertical and Slash on low HP. Bosco on full, and it's a Doc as well. All he needs to do is land a single bullet on Vertical, possibly two on Slash. Either way, this is very winnable, but oh, poor timing. Slash wins it out. Oxygen take a round they had no right winning.
Huge round from Slash, and honestly, whether they had any right winning it or not, attackers very much favored here on Coastline. SSG split goes 4-2 in favor of the attackers. Now OXG looks to be putting together their very own impressive streak. At what point does SSG begin to realize that the pressure is mounting more than it has in a long time? I mean, it's a major. You're trying to defend your title. I mean, it's not a world championship, sure, and it's not against any teams from around the globe. It's just those in your backyard, but still, there's points for SI on the line. There's money on the line. There's bragging rights. I'm certain there's a trophy of some kind. Maybe if OXG wins, it will be a golden stake.
Maybe. I mean, I'd like a golden stake. They actually do that,
It's not
by
about
the
you,
way.
Michael. You're not going to win the trophy.
I will. You know what? If they win, I mean, how much do those usually cost? Like what? Like $100 or something?
A normal steak you can get at a grocery store for 15 to 20
No,
bucks.
I was thinking like an actual like you go
Like
to
a
a
tomahawk
restaurant.
cut.
No, you go to a restaurant and you get like, well, maybe it's a tomahawk cut, but you go to a restaurant and they have like a gold covered steak because you want to
I've
prove.
never been to a restaurant, Michael, that has a gold covered steak.
You wanna
I
prove
don't
how
know what kind of restaurants you
ostentatious and
eat at.
garish you are.
Seconds left before insertion.
Well, I was gonna say
I don't
like
know. What restaurants do you go to that they have gold covered steaks?
I don't. I just know
I
they
used to
exist.
work at a steakhouse. We didn't have gold covered steaks.
No, I just know they exist, Parker. I've seen them. I've seen pictures and stuff.
Face it, could you please confirm golden steak trophy over? Thanks.
Oh man, I mean, well, it's it's the stake of not getting eliminated in the first day of the major.
Yeah, there are, you know what we can all agree with, there are a lot of stakes in this tournament. Not just literally, but
many stakes involved.
Metaphorically, yes.
Yes.
But no, I mean, to get back on.
I think they're actually even spelt differently. Stakes. Yeah, it's spelt differently.
Yes,
yeah. Totally different word.
God. Anyway.
The
point I was trying to make is that SSG did not bow to pressure on map number 1. They have not looked like themselves so far today. Not that struggling against DZ is something to be ashamed of. Obviously, you want to give credit to DZ, and DZ played some of the best Rainbow Six today that I think I've actually seen them play in quite a while.
Agreed.
But SSG just doesn't look like themselves. Maybe it's just the meta. Maybe they are struggling. They were very good in the Mute Mozzie meta, and I don't think there's any taking that away from them. But we are in a very different time and place right now. Mute is not played as much as he used to be. Mozzie has fallen off the face of the earth. Castle is not seen as much either, depending on the map, of course. In this case, you're looking at just Gadget Denial, and right now, with the fragging potential that comes with it, you're seeing Oxygen thrive. Now, it is an attacker-sided coastline. Wamai is also banned, so it is a bit of a different landscape than we're used to seeing. But OXG, I honestly think between all 3 maps so far that we've seen today, I would say that OXG has been so far, just narrowly, the better team between the two. And, I mean, there's still plenty of rounds to go. But OXG is sitting very comfortably on attack right now on coastline, and well, they've managed to square things up 4-4.
I say that this still could go either way. This is looking a lot like map 2 for me. I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams won. Oh, and you know what I just realized, Parker? I think I know why Oxygen won that last round. Biologic.
Why? Is it because they got more kills?
Yeah, Biologic got his first kill.
Oh.
Yeah. Impact frags, dude. For real, though, actually.
Had an impactful 1 kill.
No, but it did matter a lot, though, because it allowed Slash to set up in a way where he could control the site. That kill that Bio got. And he traded himself
the lead-off kill, by the way.
Yeah,
it's going to be laxing.
Uh-oh. Oxygen putting 2 in a row. And, okay, sorry, 4 in a row. Thinking he needed the 5th, and it's a flawless round. Absolute slaughter.
This is incredible to watch, I gotta say.
Yep.
I am very impressed with the comeback that Oxygen had. You know, after Villa, I think there was some very compelling history to go off of that maybe Oxygen would falter. Keep in mind, there was next to no break for OXG. They played TSM, if you could call it playing. They played TSM, and then they immediately had to go right back into the meat grinder against SSG. And look at this. Look at this. They are performing as well as you could possibly hope for. And they have, like I said, they've been the much better team between the two. I mean, not much better, but they have been the better team so far. I would say it is. It will grow. The what?
The meat grinder? Are they making a hamburger steak? Those are disgusting. I've had hamburger steaks. They're nasty.
Like into the wood chipper, into the fire, like meat grinder. Like it's a metaphor meaning like they're in the thick of it.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Very rare occasions where you get me with those, but when you do.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It was a light graze even.
Just a flesh wound.
It's only a flesh wound. I've cut your arms off.
I've still got fight left in me.
Come here, you.
What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
And then he proceeds to call him a coward, various other insults.
Yes, as he's running away.
Yep.
Well,
what was his name? Percy?
I have no idea.
The guy with the backpack. Come on, Percy.
I don't know.
The coconuts.
I don't remember all the... I don't remember all the names anyway. You got a match going on in front of us, Michael.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, Spacestation defending Kitchen. Canadian are going to try and roam over by Vase. They've even got to roam upstairs above the site itself. This is going to take a long time, I think, for Oxygen to clear out. But I'll be honest, they've been looking so proficient with their information gathering and their ability to collapse as a unit. I don't think it's going to be too big a deal for Oxygen. And it looks almost like, yeah, Space Station are getting a little bit more passive. They're trying to disengage before the engagements even come. I think that's smart for SSG. They're losing a lot of those fights. They might need to bunch up in order to try and gain an advantage.
The entry is going to come from vertical over towards 90. You can see him getting droned in, but he doesn't like that advance, so he'll turn his sights towards the top of White Stairs. And with the Jackal in play, it means that some pressure will now fall onto the shoulders of Canadian as he's getting trackled by Jackal, as we call it in the biz. And vertical will go and be one with the vase above by White Stairs. He'll go on to drone now and likely aid a teammate as he was the lucky beneficiary of the droning that was happening from his own squad. First encounter is going to come with Slash losing about 20 HP, but that's it. Everything else is silent for now, and half of the round gone as it's a weirdly aggressive play by Canadian. He's looking to greet OXG over by Mudroom. He gets droned out, and he's got some reinforcements and a rotate that he can escape through towards the blue bar. This is a kitchen defense, so he's within arm's length of being able to get to the bomb site if something seriously goes awry.
This angle that Slash is playing is akin to a lot of the angles we were seeing SSG play. Basically just good control, cut off of the rotation. He's got to be patient on it, though. Not sure what the intent is behind the smoke, but it looks like he wants to get aggressive in the main lobby. Laxing picks up one. Okay, well, the kill feed is coming alive for Oxygen, clearly. Canadian's even on low HP. Thinking needs the last full player alive on SSG. We might see Canadian be able to pull off some heroics, too, and get a kill or two before he dies. The push works out. That's Diffuser down. 30 seconds for these last remaining attackers to pick up that Diffuser and retake control of the site. Thinking Nade, though, gets trackled by the Jackal. That's the worst timing for that. But the Jackal dies. We were talking about the heroics that Canadian could pull out, and that is exactly what it was necessary for this to potentially be an SSG round. About 20 seconds left. Diffuser still not in hand for Oxygen. These anchors, well, these defenders are still alive and defending. Diffuser needs to be picked up. Someone's going to have to stop the timer. It's going to be vertical. One of his covers will die as vertical entries. He has to stick it now, so it's a 2v1. The timing, but Canadian saves it. The angle play almost perfectly went the way of Oxygen, but Canadian just barely manages the last kill. And wow, what a nail biter at the end there. SSG wins it out.
Really incredible stuff, and man, it propels us to all 12 rounds. Of course, would you have it any other way? We're not done early, by the way. You got to sleep? Well, too bad. There's Rainbow Six for you to watch. And right now, well, we're going to need every single round of regulation on every single map. Get excited! What an absolute brawl that was. And honestly, that's Thinking Nade in the clutch. SSG falls apart as OXG enters. They manage to isolate and pin down 3 separate members of SSG. They win those gunfights. But as we point out time and time again, OXG are so spread out. There is no refrag potential. In fact, I don't think we saw 2 OXG members side by side until that bitter end when they ran through delivery to try and get the plant down, at which Canadian stopped. Because of the spread that OXG had, they were able to pick off and engage those fights and win, getting a sizable advantage over SSG. But then what happens next is that there's 30 seconds, and when they try to push on in, they don't understand Thinking Nade's position. He's on the run from the Jackal, he gets the kill, Diffuser goes down, and nobody from OXG is close enough to be able to refrag. They're not close enough to work with one another. You can go back on drone and guide them in, but if you lose that gunfight, you're in trouble. Canadian and Thinking Nade stayed very mobile, and they were able to play off of each other. And frankly, OXG did not have the time to be able to get back to where they needed to, especially with that Diffuser being miles away from the closest member of OXG. So with that said, that's Space Station's first win on defense. It has been 10-15 minutes since SSG won a round, and it allowed Oxygen to not just mount a comeback, but then also take the lead. It's a double bar defense. And Michael, it's time for my favorite part of the match. Whichever team wins.
Oh, this, yeah.
Goes to match point.
Yep. Could go either way still. We've had that trend continue throughout. It's seemingly never ceasing. Strange, to say the least, how these teams will not let each other slip away. But I think all the better for the entertainment value, in my opinion. Now, this hole Habana has made is quite substantial. It will cut off the rotation between the blue bar and the sunrise bar, as well as apply pressure to Sofa. It's a lot of pressure, and it is going to limit where the gas canisters can go. Oh, here it comes the play from the attack. Are they just going to go straight into the site? The Clash exposes his side. Slash won't land the shots. Biologic tries to plant, and he will die as he attempts to vault out. Rampy will get him from, I believe, the blue bar window. No? Well, wherever he got him from, he's dead. It looks like above. Yeah, billiards. Good control there for SSG, and the attempt failed. Oxygen will reassess their options.
Wherever he may roam. Diffuser is still down. I don't know if Vertical is going to be the man to pick it up. He is, but obviously Ash isn't necessarily the operator that you want to be immobile to get that diffuser down. Additionally, you have a greater degree of difficulty in the Clash, but it appears that you've been picked off from the back. And yeah, that's correct. Foxy's in the main lobby, and with the back exposed, down goes Canadian. He'll need to be rescued by one of his teammates. On the hunt is the Maestro of Fultz. We talked about how good he can be on this operator. Down goes Vertical, Rampy, and Thinking Nade trying to return to the bomb site. Canadian picked back up, leaves Laxing and Slash in a very unsavory position. But can they put their guns to good use? Just as we saw out of the Thinking Nade Canadian duo, Slash and Laxing will have to be just as good. But here comes the shield impediment. And both Slash and Laxing are going to have next to nothing to deal with it. But Thinking Nade gets baited out, and there goes Canadian. All of a sudden, Oxygen have a fighting chance. They're going to try to pick away at this Jaeger, and there he goes, but Rampy swings out on a Laxing and wins it, so now Slash will be up next. Playing behind this deployable shield with the slats, great patience from Rampy. He falls off, and there he goes. Slash vaults on in, Fultz takes him out, and it's match point series point for Space Station.
You know, 2 rounds ago, you would have said, nah, Oxygen's got this. They were on a roll. They were on an absolute roll there. Oxygen seemed in full control of the attacking half. 2 rounds in a row now, they have suffered. The kitchen clutch between Thinking Nade and Canadian, that's just a whole nother thing. That's insanity. SSG went above and beyond to win that one, Canadian in particular. But that round right there, that's even exchange, artillery on both ends, lobbing shells on each other. It all looks good for both squads still right up to the bitter end. And then the patience on the Jaeger playing that shield. Oh my gosh. The teamwork and the professionalism and, the patience. Like the understanding of what your opponent must do in order to win is so well displayed by SSG. And there's like a lot of traits, I think, that make SSG one of the best teams in the world. But in my opinion, one of the most important is their perseverance. I think SSG should have, many times now, lost this match. And yet they haven't. Now, I hope we get to go to overtime, because I want more rounds. And we've seen every single round played so far in regulation. And we will for this whole series. But I want to milk it for what it's worth. I want to get every single ounce out of this, because one of these teams is going home. You know, I guess they're all home. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot about the deadly virus and the. Anyway, one of these teams is not going to be able to play in this major after this match. And it's
winner moves to Canada.
Huh?
I said the winner will move to Canada.
Yes, the winner is forced to move to Canada, very far in the north of Canada.
Very cold.
Yes.
I know at least 2 members in this game that would be happy with that.
Yes, yeah. Well, either team even, actually.
Yeah.
Whichever way it goes.
Yeah, that's. But anyway.
Yep.
This has been exciting to watch. We started almost 12 hours ago. Space Station was primed and ready for their very first game, so they've been up for quite a while. That is tiring in and of itself, but it's also tiring because this is now map 5 that OXG has played, and well, Bosco somehow doesn't die. I don't know if Foxy botched that grenade or not.
Yeah, he might have botched it, because there's very little holes, and usually if you get it right on, it makes tiny little holes, so it was probably dropped a little.
I've heard holes go both ways.
They do, yeah. Just ask them, though.
Yeah, so I was going to say. So, Bosco manages to survive. That could have been a very detrimental loss for Space Station. And with that, set us up for overtime, probably likely, I would say.
Yeah.
Halfway through the round now, and there you go. Some ADS juggling going on from Thinking Nade. And He manages to stop some of it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be fully successful. And he's going to have to peel way back to the reinforcements on that B bomb, with Fultz now watching on Cool Vibe Stairs. This is a hookah defense for those that don't have access to a visual component of this stream. As nice as it is to listen to us narrate, there is a visual component, so we can't perfectly describe. We're not radio announcers, so.
Yeah, thank God for that. You know, there's something I want to bring up, but we've only got 50 seconds left in this round, and I'm still not sure who's going to be able to take this one. We'll talk about it later.
I have no idea.
Yeah. The angles opened up here are going to make the hookah take so hard for Oxygen, though. If they're fully committed to that, they're taking a big risk. I'm not sure if they want a full commit, but it looks like they are determined.
They got drones in sight, though, and they'll at least lock down the Jaeger and try to pounce upon this kill on Nabosco, which they get. Fox A opens things up with 30 seconds left, and with it, the lead for OXG. This is the calm before the storm, possibly 20 seconds to go for Biologic to be able to sprint on. Anybody gets dropped by Fultz playing on this deployable shield, and immediately he moves over, down goes Slash and Vertical, and Fox A cut off a wire. That's it! Oxygen snuffed out, and it's Space Station blasting into the next part of the lower bracket. They'll stay alive by the skin of their teeth, and that's it for Oxygen's run. 7-5, Map 3 for Space Station. We'll see them play tomorrow.
You can see the exertion displayed on SSG's face. SSG